DJ Ouma, one of the best DJs here in the Bay Area and nationally. He's been putting it down for a good 25 years now, and not only is he one of the best DJs here in the community, but he's also in the community working with the youth and trying to support as many initiatives as we can here in Oakland and across the Bay. So thank you. It's always a pleasure to see you, and
thank you, my dude.
Appreciate you for joining us today. And tell us, while I have your shirt here, tell us a little bit about Squarevision and what that is. And
so, my lady, my queen, Miss Mimi, and I've always been on this page where I've tried to use my street knowledge, intellect, what I've learned from growing up in Oakland, as well as, like you brought up, I went to St. Joe's, I went to San Francisco State, so I got a little book sense as well, school sense or whatever. And so I've always tried to call myself a square, or I've wanted to be a square, although I know I'm not square, but I choose to be on that path because I feel like there's less trouble and more productive ways of life, so to speak. So the queen said, well, hey, you're always looking at things from that perspective. That's like a square vision. You know, you're looking at it from that perspective. And so I just like, man, let's stick with this. So far we've been pushing the whole square vision thing and just really trying to get people to understand that life is really more about positivity and creativity and stuff. There's too many people, and I really think everybody has a talent, something that they can give to the world. A lot of people choose a negative route, of course, but to me, we squares try to do something a little more productive for those around us as well as, so that's kind of the basis of Squarevision, just trying to look at the world from a perspective of positivity and productivity as well.
So speaking of which, I know you're a father of some beautiful children that
Yes.
are doing very well in school.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of times our young students, especially black male and females, it's not cool to be smart.
Right.
And so
right.
I can see how with the Square Vision too, you're kind of also playing to the fact of it is cool to be smart.
Right, exactly.
Can you tell us about what it's like for you as a father and just seeing our children in school where they don't think it's cool to be smart?
So, glad you asked that. Blessed to have produced from my own seed 2 beautiful children, as well as from a past marriage, raised 2 more, so 4 that I can say I had hands-on with. 3 boys and a beautiful girl. My 3 boys, 2 of my boys kind of chose a tougher path. They didn't want what you spoke on. It's not cool to be square. They wanted to be with the in crowd and found out that what comes with it, the penal system and all that kind of stuff. But my other 2, my daughter and my middle son, they chose the square route. I've been blessed that my son has graduated from Alameda College as well as San Francisco State, criminal justice. My daughter's in her last year at Castro Valley High, been an honor student since she's probably been maybe 4th, 5th grade. But they've taken it seriously because that's all I've imposed on them. You need this to be able to make it in this world. But I've also tried to let them find out about street knowledge as well, because I feel like you can have all the book smarts in the world, but if you don't know about your environment, you're in trouble, you know. I've also been blessed to have taught at Castlemont, taught barbering for 2 years and stuff, so I got a chance to interact with teenage kids and stuff like that, seeing our youth around here, and a lot of them can't handle being exposed to today's society. Whereas when you and I were kids, it was when we wanted to do something, we had to go outside to do it, or we had to work hard for it. Now, society teaches the kids that, oh, all you need is a cell phone, and you can Google whatever you don't know, and I can go on the internet and and all of these. I mean, there's nothing wrong with social media. I use it day in and day out, but a lot of people base their lives off of it, and especially a lot of our youth, and they get caught up in the whole, hey, getting the real meaning of life versus this computer life. I've learned that a lot of our youth today think they don't have to listen to the elders and the people that me and you grew up as our role models and stuff like that. You ask a kid nowadays, I'm not going to say all of them, but you can ask a lot of them. A lot of them don't even know what a role model is, or their role model is their phone, or their role model is some dummy that's selling drugs or killing himself or killing his people. And a lot of it has to do because they've learned to accept foolishness and stupidity as that's the way to go. Back to what you said before about it not being cool, or when they went through when the hyphy phase got strong and it was cool to go dumb. A lot of them are taking it to another level intellectually. It's not just a phase of a dance craze or a type of music or a generation. They actually think, hey, the less I know, although I do know some things, but I'm going to play dumb because I feel like I can go further that way because people are going to sympathize with me. But they don't realize that you really don't want sympathy from people. You want their empathy. You want them to relate to what you're doing, not feel sorry for you, because generally if they feel sorry for you, they're not going to give you really what you need. They're going to give you like a Band-Aid just to cover it up, but it's the scar or the cut or whatever is there is still there, and it's going to affect you in some way, shape, or form. That's what I've learned about today's generation versus, our generation. And it's not their fault because, like I said, we didn't have internet, cell phones, everything under the sun on cable. And just that, I feel like they have too much access and they don't have the right people showing them, instead of maybe history in school, maybe they should have cell phone or just to help them understand what it is that they're doing and what they're dealing with and stuff like that, because a lot of times they just get thrown to the wolves and they don't know what it is that they're even dealing with, but they'll go by, oh, some other dummy because he has a phone, oh, he knows, and he might not know either. So if we're going to educate, I think we need to broaden the spectrum beyond just math, science, history, spelling, those basic things, and expand to where all kids can get exposed to music. All kids can get computer literacy and things that society is going to throw at them once they do get out of the educational ranks, so to speak.
So when we talk about longevity, you being able to stay in this game so long, what you have to fail. A lot of times as young people, we want things quick, instant gratification. We think that it's easy to, if we have some skills, it's going to take us very far, but they don't understand sometimes the time and the work that it takes, and they don't want to fail. Can you tell us about some experiences where you failed and were able to learn and actually it helped you get better in the long run?
I'll give you a prime example, and this was probably my most recent failure, because I'm not going to say that I'm not going to fail ever again, because you can't satisfy everybody. So that's, to me, rule number one, that no matter how much detail you put into it, they can give you all the pre-selected songs that they want to hear, equipment is ready to roll, everything, and there might be that one person that just, hey, I just really didn't like what you did. my most recent one, and it also had to do with, for a long time, you've known me for years, you know, when we used to party, it'd be like, man, let's go to the store, get us a drink, you know, get the bottle going, and everybody's feeling good when we go into the party. So I kept that practice, and also thought I can incorporate it with doing business properly until, in fact, tomorrow will be the anniversary of it, because it was last 4th of July. I'm doing a birthday party. Young lady's birthday was on the 4th. At her house, nice spread, and this was the second time that I had did one for her. But her boyfriend, hey, you want something to drink? And like a dummy, oh yeah, sure. He brings me a glass filled damn near to the rim, and I'm knocking them back, and I'm DJing, and eventually it got to a point to where they started saying, hey, you're not letting the songs play, and what are you over there doing? And I had gotten to my zone, but my zone didn't include anybody because everybody else wasn't drunk like I was.
Right.
So long story short, at the end of the night, when I'm packing up and I'm ready to collect my fee, and they looking at me like, you really want us to pay for that? And it happened to be the young lady's mother that was saying this. She was like, well, I liked some of the songs you were playing, but you didn't let them play, and you just seemed like you were over there partying to yourself. You know, and I'm still kind of leaning because I'm good and tipsy and everything, and might have left something there, you know,
right.
And I just had to learn.
Well, let's
from
say
that.
we've all had those moments, first of all.
But I had to learn that, hey, some things, no matter how good it feels, aren't meant to mix together. And you know, being a hip-hop or a music enthusiast yourself, you've been to plenty of parties. We just had the discussion a few minutes ago where you went to hip-hop and there's a possibility of, but it's always, you know, the good times because we love hip-hop. But there's always the elements of the wrong words are said, the wrong things are ingested, the wrong attitude is when they come there, and it might be a problem. Versus, like you said, you went to a soul house party and it was nothing but love, because we can't recall any soul music or anything that our parents were playing back in the day, or any house music where they're talking about shooting somebody or be this or F that. It's always just that love and, you know, and energy. And so back to the failures, I've just learned that everything doesn't go together. On top of, you can't satisfy everybody. There's some people that just want things their way, and you have to accept that you're not going to always, once you learn that, to me, and I'm just speaking for me, once I learned that I can't satisfy everybody, that there's always a possibility there's going to be that one person that you just can't please them. And I just have to accept that and roll with the punches. Still stick with my formula that's been working, which is promote myself when I can, and especially now with social media, there ain't nothing but to grab my phone and when I'm not doing something, put out a post, put out a blast, let people know what I'm doing, and that's how you kind of avoid failures, promoting yourself and trying to use those opportunities that may not cost you as much, but it's just costing you time and energy, and that's really what most people have to put back into themselves, is time and energy. It's not always about the money.
Right. So let's go to the other side of the spectrum. The music industry is a great, fun, entertaining industry.
Right.
Tell us something about one of your favorite times of where this industry has taken you that you could share on camera.
Right. Okay, so I've been blessed as of late to DJ for a lot of artists that I grew up admiring and listening to and stuff like that. So I've been able to do shows now with Special Ed, Chubb Rock, DJ Quick just last year, Sugar Free, Richie, you know, the list goes on. Old school artists, because I try to stick with old school, because although I'll play today's music, but only if you hire me and pay me to play. Otherwise, I don't really listen to it. But bottom line, the music industry has taken me to a point where I've been able to live some of my childhood, teenage dreams, the artists that I grew up enjoying, and now I'm able to DJ or DJ for them or DJ a party that they're performing at or something like that. That's been the real blessing, because it's shown me that, hey, back in 87, 88, when I first got my first turntables, it paid off. It was an investment worthwhile. And I still have my first set of turntables and everything. I was blessed to have them signed by Joe Cooley, one of the best DJs that I could ever admire and stuff like that. We did a show with Rod Deal and Joe Cooley, that type of stuff. The music industry has opened many doors for me to be able to meet the people that I spent so much money on crates after that. I still got all my crates and all my records. I'm paying storage for them just to sit. You know, that type of thing, but it's what I love.
Right.
And it's an investment in myself. And that's also what I learned at State. You gotta invest in yourself. When you
And who have been some of your mentors? Sometimes it's hard for people to ask for help, but then when we learn the people that are very successful have always been able to go to people for help. Who have been some of your mentors?
Well, I've been blessed to have both my parents, so they always showed me the example of hard work and stuff like that. Young man who's probably sitting up waiting for us to connect on All Day Play, Igor Beats, he's shown me a lot, and me and him have probably been friends for about 4 or 5 years. People like yourself, I'm, not trying to gas you up or nothing, but I pay attention. Like I said, I pay attention to people. I see when people are really trying to put something together, whatever it is they're choosing to do. I may not choose that same path, but I see their initiative. I see what they're putting into in order to make what they want happen. A lot of people just want it to be given to them. My parents didn't teach me to, and I was the only child, but they didn't teach me to just have everything given to me. Once I started becoming a teenager, hey, you got to find a way to make money or whatever. And I'm thankful because I've been on my own since I was 19, so I've been able, like I said, raising grandchildren now. So.
Okay. And then what other events you have? You have anything going on this summer? I know you're busy.
We just started these boat cruises with Bay Celebrations. It's a boat cruise line over here in the Bay. We started something called Soulful Saturdays, where we're playing nothing but soul music, old school hip hop, trying to cater to our generation and stuff, since the younger generation doesn't seem to handle boats and alcohol and their music too well, so we try to keep it for them. But it's open to everybody that's legal, that type of thing. We also got coming up, we do a thing with the city of Oakland called Friday Night Live. And what that is we have block parties for homeless kids, stuff like that. They set up jumpers, food, all that kind of stuff. It's sponsored by the city and stuff. And me and Igor have been doing this now also for about 5. This will be the 5th year. Starts this Friday. It's usually a 6-week thing. Every Friday, catch us out there playing music and just connecting with the community and stuff like that.
Well, where can people reach you if they want to DJ?
Okay, so
what's your social media?
I'm gonna keep it real.
Yeah.
510-912-4473 is where you can reach me right here. Also,
there you go, direct line
on
there.
Facebook, it's Squareopolis Ouma, or if you just type in Square, I'll pop up. I guarantee it. Also, Instagram is Ouma Square, O-U-M-A squared with a D at the end. That's my Instagram page. And otherwise than that, I'm always on the move into town, and blessed that I know quite a few people. So if you can't reach me through that, just ask somebody if they talk to the Square, and a lot of times they know who you're talking about.
Well, lastly, we're reaching a lot of students out here. Can you give a last piece of advice for any high school, maybe even going back to junior high,
Right.
knowing this new music that's out here, trap music, and
Right.
music is always changing, but what
Right.
advice would you have for people that love music and maybe want to be a DJ or producer?
I say, first of all, if your school provides music, because I know they're taking music out of a lot of schools, especially here in Oakland, but if your school provides that and you get an opportunity to play an instrument or just get introduced to real music, do it. Don't pass that opportunity up. I still beat myself mentally because my mom made me take piano lessons from like kindergarten to 3rd grade, and I didn't want to keep doing it. And I wish I would have, because I could just imagine the things that I could do now. Stick with, like I said, and if your school doesn't offer music, try to connect with somebody that is, whether it's a church member that you know plays the drums or the keyboards or something, or if you just know an artist or somebody, a family member that just likes to sing. Be connected with real music. It's not all about just Pro Tunes and just trying to create something and then get on the internet or go to YouTube, and because you get a million hits that makes you a star. No, that's don't fall on that pipe dream. The people that did get that, I guarantee you, as they progress, you won't hear them for very long. You need to stick with the basics of music. And then I also say, always try to educate yourself if you can. If music is not your thing, try to educate yourself to better yourself so you don't have to go ask some other dummy that really don't know but might tell you anything or sell you a pipe dream. I think a lot of the problems, and this is not just Oakland, this is just youth, period, they're listening to the wrong people. And I'm not saying I'm the right person, but I'm not going to try to show you anything that's wrong, you know. Now, you choose to do something wrong, that's on you. But bottom line, try to better yourself, try to learn as much as you can, because the more knowledge you have, the more self-wealth you have.
There we go. That's the perfect way to wrap it up.
Thank you,
Brother
Killer B.
DJ Ouma, really
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
your time and
I
everything that you
appreciate
do
Like
for
I
the
said,
community.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you. Just doing what you taught me, sir.
Yes, sir. Well, thanks a lot. Thank you for joining us today. We're here with Empower You Network, DJ Ouma, and Squarevision. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you.
Peace.
Now knocked off a head knock. You knocking or not now? Knock it down, knocking on it. Finally I got you on it. Got massaged on it.